Listen, it has been a tough year for the Flames, but tonight, to the players, you can have a win as a treat. As a treat, Pike. The Flames outlast the New Jersey Devils for a 5-4 decision and their first win of this Eastern road trip thanks to a couple of milestone performances. It's Cami and Pike coming at you on Afterburner on Flames Nation. Of course, a proud presentation of Bet365. You know the game. Never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game using code NATION. And get in on the show, hitting up the Afterburner Super Chat to support Youth Centers of Calgary. Of course, it's a place where kids are welcome and accepted as they are, a place where they get a break from the chronic stress that is the reality for many of their lives. And there they get a chance to flourish through connection and fun. Flourishing is a great way to describe a lot of players tonight. Milestones all around, like Backlund, Beecher, Olofsson. So good. What were your thoughts on the win tonight?
They were quite bad in stretches in Washington, and they weren't out and out bad against New York, but they weren't particularly good. They were a team that was involved in the game, but they weren't the best team. Here, they score first. They never trail. They managed to, every time it looked like New Jersey was starting to get momentum, they got that proverbial next goal to give them just enough breathing room that the Devils just could not find a way to get back into it. So, it's one of those games where a lot of guys, there was really no single person that dominated this game wearing a visitor's sweater. But I mean, you mentioned it, like pretty much half the team had points. Most of the team had points. Outside of like Klapka and Frost, everyone in a white sweater was plus or even in the game.
I disagree with you already.
Let's get
okay, I'm sorry. No one dominated that game. Adam Klapka was a wrecking ball. I think he had 6 hits. He was making things happen.
But when you have a lot of hits, that means you don't have the puck very much, do you?
But when he had the puck, he's doing good things.
This is true. He got a point. He's pretty okay. But -1.
Sorry, Adam Klapka. I guess you're not good enough for Pike.
Your line mate, John Beecher, had two goals, but 38% in the face-offs. But, we still love you, John Beecher. I think you didn't have to stay in the lineup for Saturday. But, yeah, it was just one of those games where, this has been kind of a challenging season. The end of the season with hopes and dreams and going, oh, golly, you got 96 points last year. You missed the playoffs in the tiebreaker. Okay, just be a little bit better. And that has not panned out. They were not a little bit better. They've been appreciably worse to the point where, a player that everyone expected to see gone is now with Vegas Golden Knight, and 2 players that many people thought wouldn't be gone for quite a while are in different teams as well. It hasn't gone to plan, but you need nights like this, I think, for the coaching staff, for the leadership, and especially those young players. They're going to learn some hard lessons this year at times. A win here and there will allow those lessons to not taste like the proverbial Buckley's cough syrup.
Tastes awful, but it works. Genius marketing. But I mean, even if your team tank, listen, no one's catching Vancouver. In December, we thought it might be Calgary taking the crown for worst possible season, and the Canucks really just came out of nowhere holding a folding chair, and they asserted their dominance in that department. So this was not going to be the difference maker in the grand scheme of things. Good for the Flames to get something to keep people up in the room, especially when you have new guys there. And there's more good news coming, and we will get to that in a little bit here. But first, we had some shaken up lines with some people coming in and out. Coleman, Backlund, Farabee, Sharon Govich, Strome, Olofsson, Gridden, Frost, Coronado, Zary, Beecher, Klapka. And on D, we had Ball with Oli Mata, Kuznetsov, and Brustevich playing in his first game since late January. Hanley, Pahal, and Dustin Wolf, who had a pretty good showing after allowing 4 straight starts now, but does get the win in this one. But we're going to kick it off with, you stole my word, Pike, but the proverbial beach ball. John Beecher notches his first goal, the proverbial beach ball that just got Jacob Markstrom's goose.
Quite good when he's been up this year. If you take a look at that first 6 games, 5 games, wherever it was, when he was basically the placeholder for an injured Jonathan Huberdeau and went, okay, this doesn't really count. It's basically just you trying to figure out if you can play at NHL pace. And I'll say this, every time we've seen Matvei Gridden come up, he looks a little bit more complete and a little bit more confident. And I don't think that's a play that he makes in October. It's a play he thinks about making in December. It's a play he executes extremely well, and he looked like a veteran NHL player there. And he throughout this game, I think that was his only point in this game, but throughout this game, he was noticeable and did a lot of good things overall. So it's the start of a very nice game for Beecher and the continuation of a pretty nice stretch of play for Gooden.
Yeah, that definitely one of the players who gives fans a lot to look forward to, and the highlights that you desperately need when the wins aren't necessarily coming fast and furious. Still in the first period, ball out. Kevin makes it 2-rip against his former team and against the man he was traded for. So you have Klapka, Mata, Ball. That's a lot of human on the ice. So
what can you do when there's a late deflection? But the Flames had a lot of zone time on that sequence. They made like 2 or 3 nice plays to continue. They managed to get a partial line change going while maintaining possession and while cycling the puck. So, they look confident and managed to execute well. And yes, I will give credit to Adam Klapka for making a very nice pass to the point while maintaining the cycle, because if I'm going to criticize Klapka for his -1, I have to also praise Klapka for a very nice secondary assist.
And this is where the Devils were keeping the Flames on their toes a bit. They get one back with just under 4 minutes left in the frame. And this is where I
think for the first time in a little bit, and scored a pretty nice goal. But yeah, you kind of you see that sequence and you go, yeah, look, just a little, not quite enough urgency. It rolled on him a little bit, but some smart play by Bukestad being like, okay, I'm going to try to take it from him. And then he took it from him. So good work for Bukestad, and a little bit of a lesson for number 48.
You got. And those are the kind of plays where, I don't know, if you ever talk to guys about like what was your welcome to X League moment when they're trying to really break up their most pressing memories are usually like a terrible turnover. Like I remember doing this thing that led to a goal, and just thankfully it was a mistake that I learned that I couldn't make again.
Morgan Klimchuk's one and only NHL game, he played against Zdeno Chara and got into a skating lane where Zdeno Chara was like, no, this is my space. And he nearly he told us a story after his first and only game where he had like a, almost a near-death experience, being like, oh no, is this how my life ends as a rookie playing against Zdeno Chara and then bouncing off Zdeno Chara and being liquefied? So I'm glad that Bristevich did not have a Chara level welcome to the NHL moment, because no, that does not sound fun.
What's the old line? This is the way the world ends. This is the way the world ends. Just kidding. But I was talking to Maddox Schultz earlier this week, and
of the Regina Pats.
Of the Regina Pats.
What year draft eligible is he? 27 or 28?
Oh God, I think he's 28.
Oh, he's just a small boy.
Oh, he's
a good boy.
He can only play 34 games in the dub this year under the new Western Canadian development model. But he was telling me, he's like, the moment where I realized what I had gotten myself into, try to make a play that I'd make any day in AAA, completely stripped by Brandon Wheat King's player in the back of the net. I'm like, I really thought you were going to talk about becoming the second youngest player in the internet era to get a hat trick, but
I mean, he scored plenty of goals, but he remembers the mistakes, and I kind of like that.
Says a lot. But anyway, back to the game at hand here. There was a power play for the Devils that really seemed to have some ramifications going into the second. But again, this is the Jonathan Beecher show today. Rubber, it is what's for dinner, because he was eating shots on that PK. And it actually just about set Blake Coleman up for a shorthanded break. Got some good secondary opportunities there. But yeah, Devils have to wait until the second period to get another one. Or it was the Flames first. Shorthanded, 11th of the season.
The leading 11th shorthanded goal of the season.
Yes, sir.
Bye there. But he just, skating by just slow enough to get another whack at it. And, it's nice details in both his goals. And we put the goat horns on Hunter Bristevich on the first Devils goal. So here we had to basically say, they brought it up on the broadcast. Guys, I'm gonna whine a bit. I do not like the drop pass entry in the power play in the neutral zone. I think it's stupid. I think it's just skate toward, just carry it in. Don't carry it in and do anything weird and fancy, because Like, this is a case where the Devils were just, no one knew who was supposed to have the puck. And Johnny Beecher's like, I'm just going to try to take it. And then he scored a goal. So kids, don't do anything silly in the neutral zone. I think there's the old Boston Bruins scout, Tom McPhee, used to say, what are the two places you don't do a drop pass? At home and on the road. And I always think about that every time I see a turnover off a drop pass, because yeah, don't do that.
I think about it every time I watch World Juniors.
Yeah.
I especially hate the drop passes there. But, it's also interesting with the shorties. I was talking to a player who's like a little bit of a shorthanded merchant. I'm like, how do you kind of like develop that tendency, And he was like, well, a veteran told me once that guys who are playing on the power play generally do not like to back check. They do not pick up on those details. They're attack, attack, attack. So if you think you have a window and you can get a bit aggressive, not always at the NHL level, but there's a window there to catch those guys slipping, and Beecher did that. But didn't take long for the Devils to get one back. It's also on this power play. Simon Nemec, just as it's expiring, Luke Hughes dips and dives through the Flames. He gets a pretty...
If he follows his path, he's skating outside of the blue. It's just Wolf is sort of sliding to and gets in. So yeah, I get it. And also, like, you're winning by a couple of goals at this point still, and you're like, actually, it was what, 1-goal game at this point, 3-2.
Yeah, 3-2 at that point.
Do you want to give New Jersey another power play after they just scored on you? So yeah, I got it. Keep your powder dry, Jamie Pringle.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, the Flames would go up 4-2 not too long after that. Sharon Govich from Strome, and it was a weird one. We'd seen Hughes struggling, Jack Hughes, I should say, struggling a little bit earlier in the game. He was kind of in and out of the dressing room. He loaded when they score 4 or more this season, according to the broadcast.
Yeah, and it's, I think, one of the NHL's weirdest, longest streaks. But it's like, yeah, you get to 4, you're automatic, which is, for a team that doesn't score a lot, it's both a blessing and a curse, I guess.
I mean, it's one of the only streaks I care about right now. I'm like weirdly invested in seeing Buffalo get to the playoffs. Will they get 9 tonight?
And
don't spoil it for me yet.
Thing I always find fun, Ryan Strome so far, kind of fun. He had, I believe, just awkwardly stalling as I pulled up his NHL.com profile. He had 9 points in 33 games with the Anaheim Ducks of Anaheim. And in his 4th Flames game, he is now 4 points, 4 point per game. So he is on pace to very quickly match or surpass his Anaheim totals. And for a guy that probably still has some tread on the tires, and at the very least looks like he'll be kind of a fun player to watch, a mentor. He mentioned to us on when we spoke with him after his Flames debut and his 2 points. He's been, he played on Long Island when they were kind of not very good and starting on the upswing. He went to Edmonton in 2017 when they were starting to get good again. He was with the Rangers when they weren't very good to start. He was with Anaheim when they started their climb. And now they're at the point where they got so many fun young players that Ryan Strome's kind of a luxury. And so if you're the Flames, you see Ryan Strome and go, yeah, okay, I'm kind of down with him being around for another year and sort of helping out the kids. If he's going to play anywhere close at this level, I think he's going to be someone that the kids are going to be excited about battling for ice time.
From the Anaheim Ducks
of Anaheim?
Yeah. Get out of town.
The Anaheim Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. And the Mighties in brackets, because apparently they're not mighty anymore. They're just regular Ducks.
Just Ducks. Ducks are good. Ducks are good for everybody. Anyway, back to the third period. Again on the milestones. Back 600, 229th.
Good company. More points than Backlund. Aginla, Fleury, McInnes, Nieuwendyk, Gaudreau. That's some pretty good company to be keeping. And, for a guy who's been around and played some pretty good hockey, and he's played on some pretty bad teams and had to, live through the lean years. Part of me, I think a lot of fans are hoping that the team gets good again before Backlund hangs them up, because it'd be nice to see some Michael Backlund in the playoffs again.
Yeah, it's just a good dude.
Very good dude.
The first time I ever interviewed him when I moved here, it was his family has connections to ALS, like obviously not just through Snowy, but
I believe Frida's
his wife Frida's mom passed from ALS. So the first time I ever got to interview him, it was about the Backlands bringing families impacted by ALS and like covering their tickets for games, and like win or lose, he was up on the concourse to meet with them after.
Yeah, he's really extensively involved in Special Olympics. I believe he's doing stuff with parachute for pets too, as are several Flames. So like, but I remember when he won the King Clancy, the bio that we were all given, that we were sort of looking into, we're like, when he's doing all this stuff when does he have time to play hockey? He's doing so many great things in the community. And then he's also a Selke level defensive player and a guy who's been asked to do a lot for a team that's been pretty lean over much of his career. And he's doing a lot of the heavy lifting this year. And so it's nice. It was nice to see him hit that milestone. And he is continuing on his pace to surpass Jerome McGinley for the all-time games played lead sometime next year.
Wild stuff. It just deserves every stick tap. We got a super chat here from @Grid92. How good does that Markstrom trade look now? I'd say it looks pretty nice. Kevin Ball has been, I mean, what more could you ask of him in the role that he's been put in since coming here? If you also look at the first round pick that was a part of the trade, that has become Cole Reshney.
NCHC Rookie of the Year candidate, Cole Reshney, I believe 5th in freshman scoring in the NCAA this year.
The Macklin Magician.
It's good. Nice Saskatchewan boy. He works hard. He's got great hair too.
Yeah.
Every time he takes the helmet off, I'm like, it's a shame you got to put a helmet on top of that hair.
Well, from a safety perspective, probably leave that bucket on, but
sure, safety. But it's a shame he didn't play in like an era where players didn't wear buckets, because just like getting to top speed and having just the wind flow through that, people would pay admission just to watch the hair.
Yeah, he'd be in a 2-horse race with Mike Commodore for some of the best Flames hair. Ooh, Sonny Milano.
Oh, yeah. Sonny
Milano's got great hair.
I think at some point we need to put together a panel to decide who has the best hair in hockey. And it's like, I think Commodore we'd have to put together an expert panel to decide.
How do we rank volume? We would need to make a rubric, because like, where do you rank Erik Karlsson? Like, that is some hair. It is recognizable hair, but do you want volume?
Yeah. Is it length or style or volume? So we're going to have that. This will be an off-season project. We have to come up with a rubric.
We're on it. We're on it, folks.
Oh God, there's still more goals in this thing.
I know, right? Well, let's just buzz through them. Devils answer back to make it 5-3. Jack Hughes. Got to call game on the best hair. It is Jaromir Jagr.
All time. Yeah, all time is Jaromir Jagr. What a great 6 weeks that was.
Forever a Flame. Forever a Flame, Jaromir Jagr.
His last NHL clips, assuming he doesn't come back at some point, will be with the Flames. And I'm still not like, if you tell him until he's absolutely retired, you can't convince me he's not coming back at some point.
Oh, call an ambulance, but not for me. That's the energy Jagr gives. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to point out, I don't think we have a clip of it, but when the Devils were looking to tie it up and they had yanked Markstrom. You're a football guy, Pike?
Yes.
You're familiar with Coffin Corner?
Yes.
Ball was really good at not icing it, but throwing Coffin Corner to avoid the icing on a couple of plays. That was very well placed on his part. So stick taps for that. But Flames did take one more late penalty, Hanley for cross-checking, and that's where Luke Hughes gets gay. Ooh, the Rod Langway skullet.
Willie Plett's a good one. I believe he's from Paraguay, I believe, originally. The only NHL player from Paraguay. South American born NHL players, primarily Flames, between Recife, Brazil's Robin Regier and Paraguay's Willie Plett. God, Willie Plett was such I forget who it was, but someone sent me like a VHS of old Atlanta games, and it was basically like a bunch of Willie Plett highlights, and it was just basically Willie Plett starting stuff. Like anytime he's on the ice, if you thought that Matthew Tkachuk is a menace, in the 80s when they barely called things, Willie Plett was getting like hundreds of penalty minutes a year while just basically trying to commit felonies on the ice. But he was wearing a Flame sweater, and he managed to turn that into a lot of points. So very, very good Flame. That's a very good poll by the chat.
I'll go wild card here. I'd throw George Laraque in there. He had great hair when he played.
I agree.
Yeah, no, actually, No offense to Yager, but maybe we do need to explore this a little bit further.
Well, we'll come up with a rubric.
Absolutely.
So if you are a place that does hairstyling, haircuts, or any kind of other let's call it self-maintenance facilities, contact the Wolverine and we'll talk. We'll come up with something for this.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad. I cannot remember his name right now, but one of the Spokane Chiefs players did a cancer fundraiser, and like people could donate to a certain haircut.
Oh,
and then he got the haircut done. I'm gonna have it for the next time I'm on Afterburner. I'm gonna track that down.
When I was in the university, we did that an internal fundraiser. Our newspaper's editor did that, where he's basically like, I'm gonna shave my head, but you guys get to decide what it is if you give the biggest donation. And he ended up getting a skullet, and he had to keep it for 2 days. He had to go to class for 2 days with that haircut, and then the next day someone would come in and shave the rest of it. And the looks he got, it was we had a photographer following him in his classes for the first couple of days just to see the professor's reactions. It was beautiful. It was money well spent by everyone involved. And I forget what charity it was for, but
in this economy, one of the safest investments you can make.
Oh yeah. Take that, Bitcoin.
Yeah, you know who we're gonna get to help make this rubric too? Derek Newman.
Because he knows good hair.
Yes.
He knows
and real estate.
He knows a lot of things.
Yeah. Buying or selling a house, condo, townhome, or duplex in Calgary, use the Derek Newman Group. That's DERRICK. 90% of his business is done through referrals and repeat business, which is huge because people just kind of stay with Derek. He's connected to the city. He volunteers everywhere. He will soon be donating his time to our hair rubric, and he's keeps it all pretty low pressure. So he has a consultative approach to achieving your real estate goals. So check out his new website at dereknewmangroup.com. That's DERRICK newmangroup.com, or give him a shout at 403-619-6661. And we got a super chat specifically for you here, Pike. We got Ken.
I feel seen.
You are seen. Not going to lie, the win felt good, but we need more losses. This is for Pike. Will you be compiling a 10 prospect list for the 2026 draft? What do you know of Tyson Gross? Is there an official opening date for the new arena?
In order, yes, I will, but I'm primarily relying on other people's scouting reports. And then some people will tell me, hey, here's some video. Go watch these players. I've seen very little of this year's draft class outside of a handful of collegiate and Western games. So someone make sure I stay up to date on the Western League.
But you know what? Shout out to, I'm sorry, your name's escaping me and it's a little far up there, but whoever was listening to Hartley Miller's CAT scan in PG, remember everybody, it's not Carol's. It's Carl's.
Let's see. Tyson Gross, 6'3", 195 pounds. Pretty good first 2 years at St. Cloud. Then a really good year this year with 41 points. He had 45 the previous 2 seasons combined. He's big. He's not, he's big. He moves well. In his conference, he is nominated for prospect or for forward of the year, defensive forward of the year, and he's on the first All-Star team. He's good. He's a good player and a good team and a good conference. He was their captain. Couldn't quite get St. Cloud over. To be blunt, I mean, the teams ahead of St. Cloud in the standings are certifiable wagons. Like North Dakota, which finished first, has 3 Flames prospects and Keaton Verhoff and a bunch of other really exciting young players. Like they're, when you look at the scouting list, it's NHL logos pretty much across every damn player on that team. So not finishing ahead of them is no indictment of them. But yeah, he's good. And I think the fact that, the Flame system is outside of, I think Mike and I talked about on Monday, outside of Backlund and maybe Strome, you have a lot of sure things in terms of centers. Like Frost, you're still trying to figure out, can he be part of the solution here, or is he sort of just a 2-3 year Flame? We'll see. And opening day of the new arena, the official word is, quote, fall 2027. But to be honest, by the time they hit January, like in 20 months or not even 10, in 10 months, by the time they get past Christmas and they get past the winter season, they'll probably have to start booking stuff. And by that, you'll probably need to start knowing when you can book things. So we'll probably get some sort of a clue, or probably even an official announcement of some kind, probably in Q1 of 27 as to the exact date they expect to open and what the first event will be and what the first events will be. But we'll see if we might find out next week if some of the first major events include a World Cup of hockey. Yeah, we had to shoehorn that in.
You bet.
Yeah.
Why not? I love the World Cup
I hope
of
there's
hockey.
fire pits. I hope there's fire pits. I hope they have outdoor skating there. But thank you for the question and the super chat. I know the kids appreciate it.
That's great stuff.
And I feel seen.
And also, like, whoever's making the NHL schedule, you better make the Utah Mammoth the opponent for the home opener, and noted CSEC foreman Mackenzie Weegar better be doing that opening puck drop.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure you could figure out a way to do a cute skit where they sort of have like him wearing a hard hat, and then, you know, Harvey the Hound has to go over and be like, sorry, you got traded, and takes the hat back, and he sort of skulks off Charlie Brown style, and then they have to finish the building without him. I think he'd be down for doing some zany skits.
Have you ever seen the Vine of it's like a 10, 12-year-old kid wearing a hard hat dancing to Sexy Back and like hitting a hammer once doing some demo? That's the one that they should recreate.
Hey, I guarantee you on the first game broadcast from Scotia Place, they'll do this is how it started, this is how it ended video with just him and his wife, or his now wife, wandering through the old locker room, and then a shot of the New Flames locker room or a shot of the Visitor locker room or something with him in it. Like they have to do some sort of a time lapse. That'd be fun. The
house that Mac and Maggie built.
I mean, if he didn't make a comment about it at the press conference, they were never going to do it, right? That's what I was told.
Yeah. Well, if they told you.
Nobody lies to me.
No, truths only. Oh, we got another super chat here for RM Ryder. Left the Carl's pronunciation, Cami, an interview. Thank you so much for listening. Hartley's the best. He was super great to me when I was up there in my first job at a college. Hartley Miller. But since we were talking about Gross, they mentioned on the broadcast, Francis has had some great stuff this year, but arriving tomorrow to join the team, could see him make his debut as soon as Saturday.
Yeah, and it sounds like Zach Whitecloud will be available on Saturday too. He's rejoined the team apparently too, or at least he's meeting the team.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily there yet, but on his way.
Yeah, and they'll be playing at the palatial UBS Arena on Long Island. I've been there. I got toured around a little bit. It's gorgeous. My only problem is the transit connections are a little bit spotty because you have to take the Long Island Railroad on like off-peak days. So like it was a little bit of a hassle to get there on a practice day, but for event days, they got tons of trains and stuff. So yeah, and it's right next to a nice racetrack they're completely redeveloping. And it's really nice. It's basically like it's basically if you made an Islanders museum and then also are like, let's have some games in here too. Like it's that heavy with like the orange and blue. So I think they did a nice job with it, and a lot of cute brickwork too. I think they basically went, hey, we know how all the aesthetic is for the racetrack. Let's just copy that so it fits in. So yeah, really nice.
I'd love to get out there to watch a game. I do wish like Fort never lose when it was nice. Would have been cool. I remember Brent Sutter was telling me a story once about how like when they won the cup way back in the day,
which one?
I know, right? I need to clarify with him which one. He's like, we got a gravel truck to drive us around. Compare that to the parades now. Like, look at all the nonsense that the Panthers are doing. And think back in the 80s, all these grizzled guys who are 25, look 50. They probably got a dart hanging out of their mouth, and they just got the Stanley Cup on a gravel truck in Long Island. Long Island.
Hey, we had horses. I mean, there's no wrong way to do a cup parade.
No, that's the beautiful part. But last thought on Gross too, like very cool that it's like another hometown kid. We talked about how cool it was that Andrew Basha grew up such a Flames fan, dad with the Garrison pub just down the street. But it's great to like having these pictures of these kids and all their Flame stuff. But also just cool to see how different paths can be, that you don't necessarily have to be the most highly touted prospect from the time that you're barely a teenager to when you could feasibly make the NHL. Like you look at people who just develop on a different timeline. You have another Calgarian in Logan O'Connor who ends up earning a contract with the Avalanche and winning a Stanley Cup. Mark Giordano undrafted to the NHL and comes to Calgary and has a massive impact on the league.
During so the Tyson Gross, his draft eligible year was 1920. That was the pandemic year. He was a 2020 first-time eligible. The highest level of hockey he played that year was the AJ, and he played 4 games because his season got cut short because of that pandemic. His draft plus 1 year, he played for Drumheller again, played 9 games because of aforementioned pandemic. And then he didn't really play a full season until his D+2 with Fargo. And so he's gone kind of the scenic route because, 2 years to 2 different teams in the USHL and then catching on with St. Cloud and really finding his way. And, it shows you like there's a lot of kids who are, who become quite good quite early and, get snapped up by a Western League team and go that route. And there's some guys that take a little while. We've seen U Sports become more and more of a realistic proposition. I think Logan Thompson, didn't he play
he was with Brock University.
Yeah. So he played in U Sports.
Yeah. And a couple
of the Philp brothers both went that way.
Derek Ryan went that way.
Ryan went that way in a hell of a career. So that's it to say. There's no, if you
also
make
that
it,
time of
no
year,
right
I know
way.
A couple of U Sports guys who will be signing AHL deals in the next couple of days here.
Yeah. So keep an eye on that AHL transactions page because there's going to be a lot of activity in a hurry, and often some of the AHL signings become pretty fascinating players to track in terms of getting NHL deals. This is about the time the Flames managed to cajole Garnet Hathaway to signing an AHL deal, Ryan Lomberg, some others who weren't quite as successful. But yeah, again, even Garnet Hathaway is a good example of, you take a while, you do 4 years of college, you go, okay, where do I go now? I'll sign an American League deal with some NHL team, and a couple years in the AHL, you earn an NHL deal, and then you're off to the races. So who knows?
I know he's hurt right now. Rodrigo Abels made his NHL debut at 29.
Oh, that's a great story. Justin Danforth is another guy who took forever to make it, but then he become a pretty damn good pro. So yeah, there's no wrong way to make it. Everyone develops at their own pace in their own way, and everyone's beautiful in their own way.
And the Flames have 2 contract spots left right now, I believe. Do they use them? Where do you think they're going?
If I had to bet, I would say probably Abram Wiebe and Jonathan Castagna. Yeah, I think those are both guys who've sort of shown they've done enough. Castagna, ECHC conference first team All-Star, just announced today, along with another person from the Flames who's on that All-Star team is obscure player Ethan Wittenbach, but no one's heard of him, leading the NCAA in points and goals and everything.
Who?
Yeah, he's basically the NCAA leader in everything, pretty much everything, or at least a freshman leader in everything, and the NCAA outright leader in most things. And Abram Wiebe, second team NCHC, also having a really good year. So you make the case that guys that, we always say this about, players making a push, when was the time for Zane Parekh to try to go pro? Well, is there anything left for him to do in the OHL? I think you can make the case for both Castagna and Wiebe, even if they have eligibility left, that it's probably about time for them to come out and get a new challenge going. And that way the Flames don't have to have any kind of hand-wringing about losing rights in the future. So just get them under contract, get them in-house, get them with your development team, and get them going. So I think if I was a betting man, I'd say that. I'd also say that both Cornell, where Jonathan Castagna plays, the Big Red, and North Dakota are high enough in they stopped using the pairwise rankings. Now it's the MPI, but it's still basically works very similarly to the pairwise. Both of those teams are high enough in the NCAA team rankings that if they get knocked out of their conference tournaments early, they probably still make it to the NCAA national tournament as at-large bids. So if you're asking, when are we going to see these kids? The answer is the earliest is very end of March. So probably April-ish.
All right. Mark the calendars. Of course, while we're yapping prospects, want to shout out GMC. It's truck month, and that means it's your opportunity to get into a 2026 GMC Sierra 1500 Pro graphic crew cab at 0% financing for 72 months. You're getting a 2-inch factory lift with off-road suspension, a powerful 5.3-liter V8 engine, and a commanding presence that demands attention. Hurry in to go see the Sierra 1500 Pro graphite crew cab in person and take advantage of truck month before it ends. It's going to be gone before you know it. And one more prospect I do want to hit on, especially when you're talking about, okay, what can a player still get out of junior sometimes. Obviously, Andrew Basha is under contract. He signed his ELC. He would love to be playing with the Wranglers. He is closing out his season with the Medicine Hat Tigers, just getting some more ice time, helping mentor a lot of young kids who are coming up in that organization now. He's got 14 goals and 41 points in 28 games. We're also seeing more of him at center. He's at 52% on the dot. And I got to talk to Willie Desjardins earlier this week. Just asked him, like, I didn't get to see Andrew, but I was like, okay, like, what's his mentality kind of been like since he got back? And Willie said, like, he is the old Andrew Basha again. And he thinks, like, obviously he got away from that for a while because he was hurt, but there's stuff that he's worked on. They say his leadership has been outstanding, and he's just committed to trying to find a way and playing hard every night. And one thing Willie said, he's looking at Instat, and he said, Andrew Basha had 28 on-goal plays in one game, which is unbelievable.
And that's a 60-minute game in which Andrew Basha did not play 60 minutes. That's pretty good. Also, noted slacker Andrew Basha, only 8th on Medicine Hat in scoring, 1-2 in scoring, both on Medicine Hat and the entire Western League are Marcus and Liam Ruck, draft eligible players that some teams should do some finagling to try to get both of them because Twins. But Andrew Basha, yeah, 41 points in 28 games. He's creeping up on Yaroslav Brizgalov for 7th in the team. By the end of the season, there's a chance that he's top 5 on his team in scoring, despite that he spent the first half of the year playing pro hockey. So that's kind of fun. And he's also taken a ton of faceoffs. I believe he's currently 5th on the team in faceoffs taken.
I think he's got almost 300 wins. I think he's at 284 faceoff wins now.
I believe so. Yeah. Close to that.
I don't have the stats.
I think it's 243.
243.
But yeah, I mean, he hasn't played a ton of center, both in junior as a pro, partially because Medicine Hat has been a certifiable wagon since he was pro. So he played on the wing because you don't put your youngest players at center unless they're exceptional centers, and most young centers aren't. So learning to play center after A, not playing center very much, and B, playing pro hockey and sort of learning those kind of habits. They're different habits. There's different things that make you successful at pro and at junior, and his ability to sort of adapt so quickly to the Western League and be as effective playing what's essentially a new position for him. Very impressive. And we've talked a lot about the various centers the Flames have added to their fold over the course of the year. They added 4 through the entry draft in last June by the names of Rezhny, Potter, Suxilius, and Matveyko all in the draft. They added Castagna and Maximilian Curran. Maximilian Curran, just a fantastic name. And
Genius
now,
too.
And now
Genius. That guy is so smart. He speaks like multiple languages. He was averaging almost
good pickup.
Yeah, he's out for the season. He's having surgery, but a lot of good stuff going there. Remember when he got drafted by Colorado? He was just beaming at the draft in Vegas. I think people will have a blast watching him.
Yeah, hopefully he's good for dev camp because I'm excited to see him, but who knows the shoulder injuries. But at the very least, my guess is if he can't skate, he'll just come in and sort of say hello and get the load and everything. But he's going to UMass next year, so we won't see him wearing a Flames jersey probably for a little while. But yeah, again, we talked about all those guys. Andrew Basha converted to center, at the very least being a guy who you feel comfortable using in multiple positions, makes him a really, really, really interesting player going forward.
It's wild too. And like, I mean, people obviously expected the Tigers to take a step back with how many players they lost in the offseason. They have a better record than they did last year, which is insane to me. But anyway, watch them for free. Regular season ends on the 22nd. They'll be in the playoffs after that. They're actually they're trying to get 50 wins. They have to win out, but 4 more games. They have the strength of schedule is really in their favor, but get a chance to watch Basha, watch the Rucks. Jonas Wu's not signed by anybody, and he just he tied the franchise record for single season points by a defenseman.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Regular season ends on the 22nd, and the playoffs start pretty quick after that. I think I'm right.
Yeah. And even if you like the Habs, we got something fun coming up with Bryce Pickford, who's fighting for 50 goals as a defenseman despite missing a month with injury. So stay tuned. Another young guy, Hunter Brstevich. What did you make of his first game since January 29th, I believe? We talked about the turnover, obviously.
He was okay. I mean, he played like a guy who hadn't played in a little while, which is to be expected, especially if you're a defenseman. You need to have your rhythm. You need to sort of have, some sort of familiarity with your partner. You got to be in sync. And I thought he was perfectly fine. Nothing to write home about, but nothing to really get mad about. It was kind of fun to see him and Yan Kuznetsov, who were so good in the American League last year, get a chance to play together. I think they're probably very happy they won. Kuznetsov has been I don't think Kuznetsov gets the credit for as good as he is at the things he does, because it's the unsexy stuff like defensive zone play and penalty killing. But if you look at sort of minutes played for rookie defensemen in the NHL, it's him. It's Matthew Schaefer and him. And so he won't get Calder votes because he doesn't have sexy offensive numbers. But he's a guy who I think has really asserted himself well, and I think went from being a guy that people went, well, hope he gets through waivers, to a guy that goes, so who's he playing with next year in the NHL? And, I think that's a very nice, really nice endorsement of the kind of season he's had.
Super chat here from Maskman2929. Should the Flames target the Ruck Twins in the second round? Are they only benefiting from McKenna's absence? Well, I honestly think Marcus didn't get that much hype last season because he was playing left wing behind McKenna. So, he wasn't getting a ton of power play time. Like that slot was full on the team. They do a lot of great things, and just everyone I've spoken to cannot figure out just the connection they have. And even Willie said another thing. He's like, it's not fair to compare them to the Sedins. Like, you cannot do that to a pair of teenagers at this point. They're not going to go second and third overall. But he did say there's some things that he used to do with the Sedins in practice that he will try with the Rucks just to see how they react. Like if they're between drills, throwing a puck towards them when they're not looking, to see just how quickly they pick little things up. And it's been pretty astounding to watch. Obviously, Marcus tends to do the dishing. Liam tends to do the goal scoring, much like Daniel was the goal scorer. Henrik was the setup man, but it's a blast to watch. They're loving the ride. And they did tell me that there is a couple of NHL teams that have interviewed them as a pair.
That's kind of funny. How do they answer? Do they just alternate, or they just do every other word, or they say creepy together? Like,
I just think they, on some level, they share a brain, because they genuinely will tell you, like, my brother is my best friend. Don't think they've had a day apart. So
just pulling stuff up from our lovely friends at Elite Prospects. If you're looking for like a nice clearinghouse for stats and stuff, that's what I tend to use. And then I go from there. On their consolidated NHL rankings, Marcus is 62. Liam is 35. Elite Prospects, their overall rankings have Liam at 27, Marcus at 56. Craig Button's last rankings have Marcus at 29, Liam at 22. General consensus, and daily face-off, 42 for Liam and 57 for Marcus.
And they have been kind of trending up throughout the season. They had a really good showing at the WHL Prospects game as well.
The more recent rankings you'll see, they're both moving up together. So I think if you're a team with the mid to late first, you have a chance of getting one, but then you really hope you have another pick early in the second, because they're not going to, it's not going to be like goalies or defensemen where you go, oh, one team's got a goalie, well, let's grab one too. Like we see every year, or like we've seen runs of defensemen. Someone's going to get a Ruck Twin, and immediately other teams are going to go, okay, can I make this other team think I'm going to take him so I can make a trade for get a better pick out of it? So there'll be a lot of brinksmanship, I think, at the draft.
I know. I almost wonder if once a team takes one, it makes it easier for them to take the other.
Yeah, like a different team or the same team?
Like a different team, like will not, and it's obviously not a judgment on the way either of them play or anything, but if you get one, is the other viewed as being as valuable without the other? Yeah. Or is it, do teams look at them like, we want the set?
Yeah. Like if you're Calgary and you get them and you have 4 second rounders, do you feel like you can package, if I'm picking after the Flames and say the Flames get a Ruck, not saying they will, haven't seen their draft list, they won't tell me no matter how much I beg. But if you get one, you find the team picking after him, calling up Craig and going, should be a shame if you couldn't complete the set. What will you give me for 20th overall?
The Tigers had to trade up to get them both.
Yeah.
They took Liam and then they had to trade up to get Marcus.
So, or it could be a thing where you get one and then there's a trade after the draft. I don't know. There could be a lot of shenanigans. And that's the kind of thing we love about the drafts at various levels. It sounds like there was a whole bunch of shenanigans, goofy shenanigans, the Western League draft when they both got drafted to the Tigers. They had to scramble to get them both. I imagine another team will have to a team probably wishes they can get both of them, but they
want to have their draft day moment.
I think very few teams actually have the draft capital in order to do it. So I don't know if the Flames will do it, but of the teams who have seen them as much as they have and have a familiarity with both the coaching staff and other players on that team, it'd be fun. Why not?
You know where we need to finish this discussion?
I think I know.
At one of two unicorn locations? What? On 4th or 8th? They got it all. Hockey, football, soccer, UFC, and all the games that you love. Golden Tee, Buck Hunter, Pinball, Darts. Game day, $7 pints, a Molson Canadian. And even if it's not a Flames game day, I hear tell from some friends that the play is often to go to the unicorn and then go to dungeon wrestling.
That's a good setup.
It's a great setup.
Dungeon wrestling, if you want to get more advertising, contact the Wolverine. He will accept tickets to wrestling.
There you go.
Also,
I love those wrestling events.
We have some breaking news for everyone. Everyone in the chat, I'm sorry to disappoint you. The Edmonton Oilers have lost to Dallas 7-2. You may now return to your scheduled programming. You just had to break in with that important breaking news.
Well, what I was going to say was less important. I was going to talk about how fun wrestling at the Legion is. Has anyone gone?
I haven't gone in years.
Chat, has anyone gone to wrestling at the Legion?
Didn't they just redo the Legion?
Legion 1? Oh, the last time I was there, it looked the same as the last time I saw it.
It's like you're in a time machine every time you go in there. I mean that in a nice way.
It's kind of comforting. Also, all the food is so cheap.
Okay, Seattle still remains 5 points back of Edmonton for the last playoff spot, but they have 3 games in hand.
Yeah, let's get into the road ahead here, but give us the breakdown on the out-of-town scoreboard and how that's impacting the standings right now.
You want to start at the top of the standings or the bottom of the standings? They're both interesting. I believe.
Yeah, which is which? It really all depends on how you're looking at this season.
That's true. We are currently, end of the first period, the 32nd place Vancouver Canucks are tied 1-1. All we're going to say is Canucks have 13 points to make up on the Flames. I don't think they do it. I don't think they have the guts to do it. Prove us wrong, Canucks. And they could start tonight with a victory over Nashville. But they're tied right now. Also playing right now, Calgary won, so they're up to 59 points. They are currently tied in points with the Chicago Blackhawks. And Chicago play today? I don't know. No, they didn't. So Chicago's idle. So the Flames, and then we'll finish tied. The Flames, because they have played more games, their points percentage is lower. So they remain officially in 31st place with the second best lottery odds right now. And the rest of these are kind of jumbled. But Edmonton lost. That's all I can tell you definitively.
And you said it definitively.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. Damn shame. Who's in net? 7-2? Who is in net? Everybody? Nobody? They used Tristan Jarry stayed in for 7. He allowed 7. Tristan Jarry allowed a converted touchdown. And only 2 of them are power play goals. So they gave up 5 even strength goals.
That's cruel to leave him in at that point, frankly.
5 even strength.
Oh, also on the out-of-town scoreboard, Guido Sanchez pointing this out. Matthews hurt, took a hit from Radko Gudas, and he left the game. And apparently no one on Toronto really forced their opponents to answer for it.
There was no truculence.
No.
There was no answering of the quote-unquote code.
No nefariousness.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
There's even a roughing minor or something afterwards. There's a bunch of roughing minors on the game sheet. So maybe somebody shoved a stinky glove into someone's face and said, please don't hit guys anymore. Yeah. Radko Gudas had a kneeing penalty. He got a game misconduct, so he got tossed. And the rest of the game was just occasional roughing minors. And Easton Cowan fought Jackson Lacombe in a matchup of two people I did not expect to see lined up together in a fight.
Yeah.
I wonder if it was good. We'll see.
We'll check back.
But the Toronto Maple Leafs won 6-4. So our long national nightmare is over. They're above 500 again. Everybody can just take a breath.
But let's look ahead at what's coming up for the Flames. And this is brought to you by Prairie Toyota Dealers. I said that weird, Toyota Dealers.
Toyota.
Anyway, looking to dominate off the ice as much as your team does on it, check out the Toyota Tacoma. With its standard I-Force engine, the Tacoma delivers serious capability, including towing power of up to 6,400 pounds. That is 27 Adam Klapkas. That's powerful.
I believe,
most powerful Tacoma ever.
I believe that is what the truck industry measures their towing strength in now.
They should. They should. Whether you're hauling gear to the rink or heading out on a road trip for an away game, the Tacoma is ready for it. So is Adam Klapka. You'll also get smart features like the available panoramic multi-terrain view monitor, giving you a live underfloor view to help navigate even the toughest terrain. Or if you're in Calgary, those nasty, nasty speed bumps, curbs, some people could make good use of that feature. And when it's time to load up, the available power lift gate makes getting your gear in and out quick and easy. So experience power, capability, and capability with the Toyota Tacoma. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer during Red Tag Days from March through May. So the Flames wrapping up this road trip pretty quickly here. Like you said, they're off to Long Island on Saturday. Those have been some pretty solid games so far. Like Matthew Schaefer has been obviously a joy to watch there. And yeah, this will be the second meeting. Calgary doubled up the Isles 4-2 back in January. After that, they'll wrap up the road trip with the Detroit Red Wings. That'll be the prime game. Man, I'm just waiting for Detroit to get good. Remember when Detroit was nasty? Remember when they won like 25 straight home games in 2011?
I do. And they're very quietly much better than they've been in a while. That young group, they're going, maybe this year they do it. This Buffalo too. We've had a year where a couple of the teams were like Anaheim was a maybe next year. Detroit was a maybe next year. Buffalo was a maybe next year. A lot of these really interesting maybe next year groups have sort of come together this year and gone, I think this is the year. So I'm kind of excited to see how those teams go. And, especially Detroit. It's kind of fun to see. Like, it's a good sports town. They have that new rink, but they haven't really been able to do much with it. I love
their jerseys this year. The throwbacks. Oh,
with like
nice.
the really subtle, the subtle tint to them.
Yeah, I love the cream and not like the stark white.
Yeah. It's a very minor look, but it's like, okay, I can see you did. Like you had the template and you're like, hold on, click that other box first and then hit print. And so it's not white. It's just a little bit off white enough that it kind of accents it. It's kind of nice. I like it.
Bet.
And we'll be, as I mentioned on a previous program, Mondays on Prime. You've been warned. There are 2 Prime games this month. One of them is in Detroit. One of them is in Colorado. So there are 2 Monday games, the 16th, this coming Monday, and then 2 weeks after that, 30th. So if you have a Prime subscription, you're good. If you don't have a Prime subscription, but you didn't want to get one until the month before the 2 games, this is the time to do it. I think they have other shows on that service. I don't know. I hardly watch them unless I'm watching hockey. There's just too many other things to watch, and my wife has a long list of things we have to watch together.
They have Jersey Shore on there.
Isn't it good? The old one? Hey, sometimes you
sorry, was that a serious
Sometimes
question?
You need to watch trash TV. I like watching home improvement shows when I'm anytime I'm at the gym. I'm like, I don't want to watch home improvement shows at home, but I want to see 2 people fighting over how they're going to change their sink. That's my thing. I get emotionally invested.
Okay, that's fair. I de-stress by watching Drag Race because sometimes I just want to see someone in a wig do a jump split to an 80s song.
Yeah, I want to see somebody complain that they can't afford to put French doors in their new house for less than $1,500. I'm sorry, the labor alone is going to cost you that much. Why did you spend all your money on the rest of the? I watched one where they just retile the bathroom entirely and put heated stuff underneath, and they're like, "Oh, we don't have enough money for the new door." You spend all your money on the. You get to watch people just be terrible at budgets, and I'm all there for it. You have to watch people implode mentally and just their souls die because they can't have everything they want for no money.
Oh,
But anyway, Monday is prime. 2 weeks from Monday, also prime. So if you go to a Sportsnet channel, you'll be lost and confused. We'll mention it as often as we can, but we're mentioning it now.
Well, we also just we will not be recovering from this one. I love watching trash TV. That's why I tune into every Afterburner. You got us. You got us. Anyway,
that's pretty great. That's pretty great.
That's a good one. We got a 6-game homestand coming
24/7. You're a gem.
Yeah.
That might be the comment of the year.
Frame it.
Yeah.
Frame it.
Put it in between the two things there. Shelves. I don't know words right now.
We'll make a wall of fame. But we got a 6-game homestand after that. It's the Blues coming up on Wednesday. It's the Panthers on Friday, and we'll wrap up the road ahead on Sunday, the 22nd, when the Tampa Bay Lightning come into town. They just lost to Buffalo 8-7. Sheesh.
It's a high-scoring game. What decade is this?
I don't know, but it's been fun to watch. That's a lot going on, and Buffalo really had to storm back to take that one. And
we work with a notable Buffalo Sabres alumnus. I think he's going to make sure that we're all going to get emotionally invested. Didn't Boom play for the Sabres? He was their backup goalie in the 80s.
Didn't this guy play for the Sabres? This guy could have played for the Sabres.
He might have been their backup goalie. I think I think the rubber chicken played behind Hasek, didn't he?
I don't know where that's been. Anyway, that's the road ahead, folks. Brought to you by Prairie Toyota Dealers. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer during Red Tag Days from March through May. What do you have for us for Bet365, Pike?
Well, guys, I hate to tell you this, but the Edmonton Oilers, who just suffered a crushing loss, a 7-2 loss at the hands of the Dallas Stars, they're on a back-to-back. They're flying to scenic St. Louis, home of the Gateway Arch Enterprise Center, or whatever the hell the arena is called now. It used to be called the Checker Dome. The St. Louis Blues used to play in the Checker Dome before Keel Arena / whatever the hell it's called now, Enterprise Center, was built. So
I like that. That has a touch of whimsy.
The Checker Dome?
Yeah.
Yeah. I miss it when arenas had fun, weird names and not corporate sponsors.
Power Play Goal Paints Arena.
So, there's 2 games, LA Islanders and Edmonton and St. Louis. Edmonton is on the back half of back-to-back. St. Louis ain't that good this year. There's probably some value in this one because it's a team that'll be playing mad versus a team that is playing bad, and who knows? At the very least, hopefully it's high scoring. So, follow your hearts. I believe the over-under is 6.5. We'll see. I think this has the makings of a track meet because I don't think that. I mean, Edmonton played their good goalie theoretically this evening, and he gave up 7. But because they're in a back-to-back, they couldn't pull him, and so you get Edmonton's other goalie, Calvin Pickard, who theoretically is the worst goalie because he's playing on the second half of the back-to-back. He has a smaller NHL sample size of success, but he's also been better for Edmonton this year. So I don't know what to make of this one. So if you're in for just a weird emotional enterprise, go bet on the Edmonton St. Louis game. If you want something a little bit more straightforward, the Kings, who are struggling, are facing the Islanders, who are good. And that means, if you're keeping track, that for the Flames on Saturday, it's potentially what's known as a scheduled win, because the Flames will be off on Friday and they'll be hanging out and doing the thing. I believe they're going to the Quinnipiac game to watch Ethan Wittenbeck try to advance to the conference semifinal, whereas the Islanders will be playing the LA Kings. So the LA Kings will hopefully wear them down, or not wear them down if you're someone going, I don't want the Flames to win every game. So whichever way you want to do it, you got something for you there.
And keep an eye on the Kings on Monday, the 16th. They've got the Rangers, and that will be Panarin facing his former team for the first time. But thanks for that, Pike. That's from Bet365. Whatever your bet is, never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app and get in on the game using code NATION. Anything else you wanted to add before we call it a night here?
Not really. I'm excited that the folks who come through the super chats, because we had a game a couple of nights ago where the super chats were few and far between and the children were sad. But y'all have come through, so we appreciate it, as do the kids. And a little bit of money can make a real difference in the lives of these young guys.
I thought, okay, I wasn't thinking for a second. I'm like, we're not kids.
I mean,
everyone who works in this building is old, but no.
No,
Youth Centers of Calgary.
with hope in their hearts.
Those kids.
Not us.
Definitely
Never
not
us.
us.
Please don't give us your money. Give it to the children.
Best way to look at it. Well, Flames take one off the Devils on the road. Happy John Beecher Day to all who observe. And Barn Burners back tomorrow. Later days, friends.